Don in London, hello. It's December 25th, 2009, Christmas Day. Happy Christmas. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, and what it's like to be in recovery, one day at a time. And it's been a busy 24 hours, more busy than I anticipated. And I went to a meeting of my fellowship last night. That's Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's the mainstay of my sobriety, what helps me keep sober one day at a time. And it was one of those meetings where you go, you hear, you listen, you absorb, you hear some wisdom, experience, strength and hope, and life is okay. And it's not all good news, and it's not all bad news. That's life as it is today. So Christmas is a time when families get together and all our buttons can be pushed about all the things that we used to be and how we used to be. And a lot of what AA is about is understanding where we've come from and where we are now, and what we may do today to make good choices about living sober. So sober comes first. And how do we get sober? I guess we have to get drunk first. And it took me 35 years to realise exactly what had happened to me, from being a convivial drinker through to a dependent drinker. I needed to take the edge off to make life palatable, and through to addiction, where I had no off switch. I couldn't function in any form or way I thought without alcohol, and I was emotionally and physically dependent, and it made me spiritually unwell. And when I say spiritually unwell, I mean I wasn't able to see the truth of now. And we like to make life complicated, and we like to think that we have some special understanding of life, which is different and superior sometimes, when we don't really understand what is going on around us. So I guess I started life with a feeling of less than others, because I didn't really understand what was going on, and I didn't realise it was okay not to understand. That's my journey, to understand what life may be right now and how it has been. So I had a misunderstanding, and I guess I learned it from somewhere, and probably from my background and experience and my family and my father, who was also an alcoholic but never found recovery. So I was a chip off the old block, and I don't blame him in any shape or form. He had a very bad start in life, and that's just the way it was. But if we're lucky, we find a way to live in the moment of now as best we can, dealing with the truth and understanding what is going on. So last night, going to a meeting, hearing some experience, strength and hope, and it was full of that. And we make extraordinary connections in meetings, and it reminded me of A Christmas Carol, how it was when the three ghosts turned up for old Scrooge. Times passed, and I have some skeletons rattling in my cupboard which I needed to acknowledge and understand, and why I was the way I was. And it was environmental, it was nurture as much as nature, and I'm dealing with them as they happen. And of course Christmas is a time when the old skeletons in the cupboard are rattled, and people remind us of times past, or we remind ourselves of times past, the good times and the bad times. And we need to be careful, because if we've suppressed feelings around those times, then they emerge, and because we're not suppressing them anymore, they come out like a volcano. And we need to remind ourselves that was then and this is now. And I've said this a couple of times in different places, but it is like that. I don't control the way I feel inside. Feelings are feelings. It's what happens next which is important. So when I'm reminded, either because I'm remembering or somebody else reminds me of how I was, do you remember when? That's their job, to remind me. And I can say, yes, in the insanity of those days, that was then, and today, this is now. A different sort of experience of life. So it's so important to know I'm making progress in recovery. And how do I do that? Well, I do put sobriety first. So last night, a meeting of AA, followed by an invitation to go to St. Paul's Cathedral and see Midnight Mass and be a part of it. And I haven't been to St Paul's Cathedral for midnight mass before, so it was an extraordinary occasion. Thousands upon thousands of people celebrating the emergence of a new way of living. And for me, it was and is an amazing experience. And then this morning, I thought I was going to go make tea at Flood Street, where there's an all-day meeting for people in the fellowship. And we've been double booked. So me and my friend turned up, and we've been promoted to greeters on the doorstep. And well, I don't know if it's a promotion, but it's great because it meant I was able to just share and say hello to lots of people I know, and then go to the meeting proper without worrying about making the tea and the coffee. So for me, it was an upgrade, if you like, for my Christmas morning, to be able to shake hands, big hugs all round, listen to somebody share all about their feelings around Christmas and how easy it is to pick up resentments. And you know, resentments are the number one offender when it comes back for another go at drinking or continuing to drink, because you would drink, wouldn't you, if you had my life and my experience, and I did that for many years. So anyway, AA saves my bacon all my life on a daily basis because it helps me keep sober, so I can be a part of life, be a part of family, community. And what is AA? I shared the preamble here because it's been shared a couple of times and I've listened to it, and I love it because it reminds me of what my primary purpose is, to be sober. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And it's a fellowship open to everyone, like today, homeless people turning up for the all-day meeting, through to the great and the good, as they're called around here, who arrive, as they do, in ceremoniously expensive limousines. But that's just us, that's just the fellowship. It's so diverse and from every strata of society, and I love it because no one's judging anybody and we all get on. I share literature here from the books, daily reflections, and the 25th of December reads like this: At peace with life. Every day is a day we must carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will be done, not mine. I read this passage each morning to start off my day because it is a continual reminder to practice these principles in all my affairs. When I keep God's will at the forefront of my mind, I am able to do what I should be doing, and that puts me at peace with life, with myself and with God. In other words, for me, I'm no bigger, no smaller than anybody else, and I'm not in charge. And as Bill sees it, this one, from what I've been wanting to read, and it's important for me today, page 288, emotional sobriety. If we examine every disturbance we have, great or small, we will find at the root of it some unhealthy dependency and its consequent unhealthy demand. Let us, with God's help, continually surrender these hobbling liabilities. Then we can start to be free, to live and love. We may then be able to 12-step others, as well as others, into emotional sobriety, which is what it's all about, emotional sobriety, understanding my feelings as they are occurring on the day, so important on Christmas Day, and not to be hobbled by the volcano that used to be inside me, which would erupt and then be dampened down by alcohol. So, to God, or to good conscience, whatever it is that you consider to be the inner voice of reason, understanding, love, acceptance, the serenity prayer, which I end these videos, is always my saving prayer in any moment. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is for me, just for today,